I'll send full feedback.
You should hear my grandma.
Did your grandma read this?
Yes, she
What?
did. Which is so funny because she read the first like draft, like the very first one before we did the pivot. And
Interesting.
and to let you guys know how honest she is, so that you know that like we can trust the feedback, she told me, and I cried. She said, "This is really bad. I don't think I'd read it." And I was like, "You
Thanks,
don't
Grandma.
say that to your grandchild."
Well, at least you know where you stand.
Yeah. And her feedback was the beginning was slow, but once you get past it, I couldn't put it down. And that she told me that too. So
yeah. Honestly, I prefer that feedback even if I do go cry afterwards, because I know that like it's honest. Like I would rather have honest feedback than, people just saying nice things to make the situation feel nice.
Yeah. Cool, because then you can like trust them to like when they do give you honest feedback that's
absolutely.
like, this is excellent. You're like,
that's positive. You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did it.
I did it.
All right. Hey guys, and welcome to the Untitled Workin' Podcast. I'm your co-host Lauren.
And I'm your co-host Darcy.
And today we get to talk about starting a novel, especially when you have some source material that's already out there. This is definitely not a sequel kind of a episode, but I think we're just going to talk about writing because like starting writing because that's where we're at.
That's where we're at.
Yup.
I will say having some source material out there, weirdly enough, makes it more difficult in my opinion. Like the starting.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Absolutely. I don't disagree with that at all, because there's like all this stuff that you're like, oh wait, I got a reference.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like published.
Yes, right. Because like other people are going to like read that and be like, this doesn't line up.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's like I think back. I know I reference Wattpad probably too much given what it is now, but like I think, or like fan fiction or anything where you're like writing consistently to tell a story, but it's in like bite-sized chunks, where it's like I remember when I used to read on Wattpad and there'd be like comments that are like, this doesn't make sense, or you'd notice something that was off from chapter to chapter, but it was like the author could go back and read those, and then this was basically you getting to read the first draft with them, kind of a deal. Yeah. And so it was like you knew that there was stuff that was going to be like not necessarily lined up, but then they would go back and probably fix it, right, if they ever published it.
Yeah.
But not for this. We've already got something that's published, so
yeah. And the hard thing is since this isn't a sequel, since this is like the main novel, right?
Yeah.
Even though there's like established information in the novella, you have to now reestablish it in the novel.
Yeah.
Because like if it was a sequel, you can kind of like throw in some throwback lines to the first book, but most people aren't just going to read a sequel and not read the first book.
Hopefully not. Those are crazy people. Who does that?
That would be really interesting. How do you live your life like that?
Just picking up right in the middle of someone's story.
Right.
Which I guess is how we do it in real life when you meet people. You're picking up in the middle of someone's story.
Oh, that is true. I never actually thought of it like that. But yeah, so that's like the hard balance is like I don't want it to feel too like, okay, so the beginning of a chapter of a book, the first chapter, is the hardest part because you don't want it to sound droney where you're like giving too much information.
Yeah, just info
but you
dumping.
but you also need to establish these characters and give people the reason why they're going to keep reading and rooting for these characters.
Yeah. Is there a book that comes to mind that did like the opening really well that you'd be like, oh, that opening right there?
Oh gosh. We use this as a reference so many times, but The Hunger Games is like,
yeah, I was thinking Hunger Games too.
It really pulls you like right in because I mean, because it's a little bit like, again, it's the establishing chapter, so it's a little bit slower technically, but she fully throws you in with these characters because you've got you're completely introduced to who Katniss is. She's the caregiver. Like off the bat, she's taking care of her sister and her mom.
Yeah.
So it introduces you to her as a caregiver. It introduces you to the thing that she will be doing everything for these books for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it also throws in Gale and PETA, but like less than the way it throws in her relationship with her sister.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is like the motivating factor. And that's one. Okay. So like books or movies that I absolutely love, or TV shows or stories that I love, are ones where you're like, you're so sucked into who the person is or the character is that you forget how you get so far down the line. Like you're like, did you ever watch Andor?
I have not. No, that is on my list though.
I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but Andor opens up with literally like the opening. I'm pretty sure the opening scene, it's been a minute since I've seen it, but I'm pretty sure the opening scene is literally Andor looking for his sister. And you just know it's a big brother trying to find his little sister who's gotten into a lot of trouble in the environments that he's in. You're like, oh yeah, this is not necessarily a good spot. And literally, I got like 5 episodes in and I was like completely engaged and engrossed in the story the whole time. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this all started because he was literally just looking for his sister. It's like one of those things where like the world just like the adventure sweeps the person along kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But you're just like, you just root for this person so much. And there's just these questions that you have, kind of like what I was just saying about like when you meet someone in real life, you're coming into their story part way, no matter like where they're at, unless they're just born and you're right there with them. Like you're coming into someone's story and you're like, I don't know, like people will drop these little nuggets in conversation. You're like, wait, what?
Like, can you elaborate?
Like that was a throwaway line in a book that you just said that like totally reveals so much about you. Like what?
Yeah.
So yeah, so like Andor, like Hunger Games, Temeraire is another really good one. I don't know if you've read that series yet by Naomi Novik. I promote that to all people, and it's Napoleonic War with dragons, and it's so freaking well done.
Okay,
and she's like a computer scientist when she wrote it. She was like a CS engineer or whatever. She's like, I like this, and she just wrote them, and I'm like, these are phenomenal. But the opening scene of that book. So think Napoleonic War, dragons. So the opening scene of that book is literally like a naval battle has just finished, and the captain who ends up becoming the main character of the story of the series, is like on the deck of a ship he's captured, and you get to learn so much about him just in that opening chapter before everything happens that it's like, oh yeah, I totally see how all of this happens and all of the crazy things, and you see so much character growth over the seasons. But that opening chapter is just like, here's like the like high level things, like if I were just like people watching, I would notice about you as a character kind of a deal, and you're like, yeah, I know who this is.
Yeah. Which that's like the perfect, that's how you establish, right? It's like that's what you want to establish.
Yeah.
I just watched so I had never seen You on Netflix, and I just watched that, and that one's interesting because so the first episode, right, since we're talking about starting, right, the first episode really, it pulls you in right away to know who this character is, because the very first thing is him overanalyzing exactly how this woman is portraying herself.
Yeah.
Right away, you're like, okay, so he's a romantic, but something feels weirdly off about the way he's doing this. Yeah. So you're completely introduced to the fact that this man is not okay in the head.
Yeah.
And
so for
pulls you in.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah. So for Unholy Vows, just since we're, taking everyone behind the curtain of our writing process, basically, what are some of the struggles you're running into with that portion of things? And what are some like ideas or ways that you're teasing out how to tackle that?
Yeah, so the big thing that I'm running into right now with Unholy Vows is how to so without giving like any like a bunch away, the opening scene has a lot of people in it. But all of the people in it aren't the people that will be actively in it throughout the book.
Yeah.
So finding a balance between giving just enough that these characters are somebody that these people will care about for the side characters, but then plenty for the 2 main characters. That doesn't feel like I'm just info dumping on them. Because, Gregory and Matilda, it's their book. Like, no matter,
absolutely.
It's
100%.
fully their book. So they're the ones that we want to focus on. But in order to make them more dynamic for the rest of the book, you have to set up the depth right there in that first chapter of the relationship she has with these people and the relationship she has with Gregory. Because if you're just picking this up as the first book in the series and you haven't read The Nostalgia of You,
which you have to assume no one has.
Right.
Yeah.
Because nobody has. But
because our book sales have no.
Maybe we'll get there eventually. But if you see Unholy Vows on a bookshelf, you're gonna pick it up because it's gonna be
such a cute cover idea.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Anyways,
so
you gotta write the book first.
Right. So you pick it up and it will be marketed as the first book in the series. Or the first book, right? Mm-hmm. So people aren't even gonna go hunting for other books. So in this first chapter, these first 10 to 15 pages, I have to create enough of a dynamic between Gregory and Matilda that you root for them throughout the rest of the book.
What if the opening, and I don't even mind if we're like spitballing here on the podcast for a sec, but like what if the opening, what if you played with the idea of them pretending that they were like, I mean, they're married now. So like what if there's like an element of like they're pretending to like they're doing like a little role play flirty thing during the barbecue or during like the big hangout thing that's happening? And it's like, it just introduces like their flirtiness. It's the rom-com portion of things before it turns into the Zom. Like, what? I mean, we've already told people it's a Zom rom-com.
I know.
It's just the way you said it. A Zom.
The Zom.
Can't even say the full word. Zom. But yeah,
Lauren hates zombies enough. She can't say the word zombie.
I know. It's so bad. I have read a zombie series before. Don't ask me what it was. I couldn't tell you the name of it, but there were like 8 books in it. Our friend gave them to me and was like, "You must read these." And I was like, "You hate me." But okay. So I have read some, but no, I don't enjoy it. Anyways, I don't know. I was just like, I wonder if like there's an element of like forget the nostalgia of you, like while you're writing it kind of a thing, and just be like, what would be like a really funny way to introduce these 2 characters to people. Yeah. And then we can go back and fact check ourselves against the nostalgia of you. Like, I wonder if throwing out that pre-existing stuff in your brain would help so that it's not like almost that perfectionism element of like, I have to do it really well and make it completely accurate. And so then I get stuck on the first 2 chapters kind of a thing. Like we've always talked about, like just write. Otherwise you're going to get stuck re-editing the same 2. You'll have perfect 2 chapters and that's it. Which is my problem all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, I wonder if that would help. If just like jumping into it and like showing the audience like a funny little rom-com moment. Like maybe it's a like faux meet cute because they're already married. That then like the audience is like, oh, that turned in a different direction than I thought it was going to go because they're already a thing.
Okay, that actually gives me a couple of little like cutesy ideas that we could do. So that's not a bad way to do that. Because it would be easier doing it because that would be more playful than just like because I was gonna like I've been like
info
starting it. Yeah, well, it's not even the info dump. I've been starting it like during this like group thing.
Yeah.
But I've always just been like, oh god, there's so many people. So like starting it right there. But if I start it where it's a little bit before it and there's like a fun little thing happening between them in the beginning and then they go to it, that actually might give it more of a flow that I need it to work because then I can have their banter. She can have like thoughts in her head about their marriage and like I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And I would also say like I don't know specifically like how much of the like other character stuff you're getting bogged down with, but they don't need a ton of backstory. I think having that intrigue of not knowing a ton about people is also super helpful.
It's less the backstory and more straddling the line between writing the characters being the what do you call them? The performative Christians. So straddling the line between showing performative Christians without being completely offensive to anybody, because I don't want like
I can want to filter. He's just write whatever you want. I'm gonna come in. It's gonna be like the Book of Mormon for Christians in a zombie landscape.
No.
Which I haven't seen that play, but I know that I know enough about it.
No, it's more. All right. Well, now I'm embarrassed. Anyways.
No, you're fine. I say go for it. I'll filter. It's
okay, because it's more like I want it to be something where it's not totally obvious that that's what those characters are to people who might be stuck in a performative Christian type way.
Yeah.
So it teaches them the lesson that we're trying to teach.
Yes. It communicates what we're trying to share about. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And honestly, that like, yeah, I would say like just dive into it. Like write whatever you feel like writing in that, and we'll nuance it along the way. I mean, the goal is for when you're done writing the book, it's basically ending draft 2.
Right.
As we go. And so like we're gonna like tweak and add stuff or whatever, and depending on how we decide to move things forward, we might bring in another editor to look at it and give us another like thing, or maybe just utilize our beta readers to be like, here's second draft, like what do you see, kind of a thing, or go through a third pass and then send it on to beta. Like we're gonna get feedback on it like either way. But yeah, I would say just write wherever you're at, whatever you're feeling. And I mean that's the point of the editing process.
That is true. And, we give all this advice. And
gotta take our own advice.
Right, honestly. And I'm the worst at it, because the reason why I'm constantly repeating the write it bad is because that is my Achilles heel. I am like,
same.
No.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. It's hard. It's really hard to write it poorly because you know how good you want it to be. Like you don't want to just like throw something out there that's like garbage just to say that you've done it, or that's like half baked just to be like, yes, I published. But it's also like it has to like you have to mix the ingredients before you can actually bake. I don't know, it's a bad analogy, but yeah.
And the biggest thing with like the writing it bad, the mixing the ingredients before you can bake it, right? That's also how you know if you have all of the right ingredients. Like going off of your little metaphor, because like, okay, you can be a really excellent writer, but I'll tell you, I don't think I know a writer at all in the world that like would tell you straight up that first draft was their best work, because they're just getting the idea on paper to make sure all of the ingredients are there to bake the cake.
Yeah, there was an author who's really well known, and I don't remember who exactly it was, so I'm not going to even I'm not going to throw a name out there, but if you know it, drop it in the comments just so that my brain can rest and not try and keep thinking of who it was. But it was definitely she was saying that she ended up going through like 12 different versions of one of the stories that she wrote, and she was sharing that like she didn't even necessarily do like a full manuscript of each of these versions. She's like, sometimes a version was like a paragraph, and I was like, nope. She's like, sometimes it was like 5 chapters, and then I like completely read it, and she shared like how the story changed along the way. And it was like, when I first tried it, it's like these 2 characters were like this, and then I tried it where this character was like this and this character was like this, and then I tried it reversed, and then I tried it like this, and then she was just kind of walking through what the story, like how the story changed so much as she was just playing with it. And that's probably also something that's helpful for you and I to remember, is that like, yes, we're trying to do deadlines. Yes, we're trying to, take it seriously as like the business portion of things, of like wanting it to be a career path, but we also still have to play and have fun with it. Otherwise it's just going to be like dry.
People will know we didn't have fun.
It's going to need some moisturizing.
Oh no. Moisturize me.
Like a zombie, and zombies need moist. That'd be such a funny ad campaign. Can we get sponsored by a moisturizing company and do like a whole zombie commercial for it? That'd be so funny.
That would be so funny, and fully something that we could totally weave into like the movie and the book of just like Matilda trying like different moisturizers for the sponsorship.
Actually, yeah, that would be really funny. I was just thinking of all the Stranger Things commercials, and like they have like I don't know, they sold out, not sold out in a bad way, guys, but like they sold out. Like they got Target, they got Pizza Hut, they got like I think a cell phone company. I don't know. There's just like every other commercial I was watching was like Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Dang. Like you guys got connected.
Yeah, I think they did it because of all the spinoffs that they want to do. So they were trying to make sure that they like brought in the funds,
it made money
to, like,
and was successful.
Yeah, because
but yeah, I mean, honestly, like if you're in a moisturizing company or if you work for a moisturizing company, you are like honestly, that'd be so funny. Like, obviously, we have to write the book first, Darcy. We can't get so far ahead down the line. But see, this is what happens when we're playing. When we're like, oh, this is funny, moisturizing. Which I forgot to do this morning, anyways. My skin is so shiny.
I actually remembered to do it this time because my face hurts when I don't.
No, for real, especially in the winter. Ugh, it's like so tight right now.
Yeah,
I don't even care about that stuff. That's like I do 2 things for like I don't know, health, like face care, whatever. I do mascara and I do moisturizing, and I forgot one of the 2 things.
Oh no.
All right. Anyways,
that's about all I do too.
That's a real fun rabbit trail. But I'm gonna go write that down after this moisturizing company commercial idea.
Yeah, that would be awesome, actually.
Start making some connections.
Just Gregory and Matilda.
Someone.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and now that we say this, there is a skincare company in Texas that I use whose products I've used that has like a really good mission and stuff, and could honestly be like there's so much room for like weaving into the background. I don't have any like personal connections with them besides using the product, but like they're in Texas and they are known.
The product's good. So
yeah,
there you go.
I like it, but I'm not a high critic to that stuff.
Me neither. I'm just like, does it give me acne? No. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm like, are you murdering everybody to make this? No. Okay, good.
Oh yeah, that too.
No, it's super cute. They like grow a ton of the stuff that they use in their stuff and their products on this like massive farm in Texas.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm gonna give it away who it is, and I'm trying not to because they're not sponsoring this.
Okay. We're gonna bounce back into the rabbit hole instead of the trail.
Funny though. Yep,
that would be.
Okay. Anyways, so playing, having fun.
Yes. My biggest tip. Okay, so my biggest tip for starting. It's the least favorite tip that any writer ever gets ever. Just start.
I think we've been saying just do it. I think we should be sponsored by Nike at this point, given how much we say just do it, just start.
Another. So something that helps me when I want to just start and I can't just start talking to somebody about my book. I can't tell you how many times Chris has had to just sit there, and I've been like, "Hey, so." What does this sound like to you? And then I literally like, there's nothing written, but I'm telling her the entirety of the first chapter from memory. And she'll just sit there and she'll be like,
dapples through the leaves.
Right.
She's like, can we just skip to the high level points?
And she'll sit there and she'll listen. And I'll always know if I'm doing well enough with the idea because she stays engaged.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so we both have really bad ADHD. So if I'm telling her something and then all of a sudden she's playing on her phone, I know she's still listening to me. Like I know she's not being rude.
Yeah,
but I'm not engaging.
It's not enough. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, now I need to make some little tweaks.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
So
that's
one
a
of
good
my
point
little hacks.
for sure. Nice. So for starting this stuff, like what are some other challenges you're running into as far as like getting it going?
Okay, so my biggest challenge for anything that we've written for this entire series right now is the religion portion of it. That seems because I know that like I have you of course like go through and like sprinkle stuff in and everything like that. But obviously if you have somebody who is so devout in the way that Matilda wants to be towards her God, it's sprinkled into their personality at that point. And so trying to figure out exactly how to do that as somebody who has one, never really like I've engaged with some religion and everything like that. I've gone to church a few times and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of negative connotations with religion through other people and a bunch of things.
Yeah.
So that's a really big portion of like a roadblock for writing. Because I want to do it justice, because I want it to be something where people read it and they understand that like Matilda is not she loves God, but she's not like obviously a bad person in her love for God, which is a really big like stereotype with just the way the world is right now. So I want to write it in a way that shows that she has this beautiful relationship, but I don't quite understand that relationship.
That relationship.
Yeah. So researching and stuff like that, I've been doing like a lot, because I want to make sure that I do it justice in a way that, because I know me and you both talked about this. We don't want it to come across like we're preaching to the readers.
Right. No.
We just want this is an intricate part of this character that we've created, and we want
absolutely,
and it's an intricate part of the story because of that character.
Right. Yeah. And if you think about it, if Matilda doesn't have this component of like her relationship with her God, I'm picking up really God. No, it's fine. It's fine. No, you're fine. I laughed at that because I don't ever say that. So I was like, oh, I just literally just copied her. There's it. Anyways, you're totally fine. But yeah, if you think about it, this book doesn't, like, this story specifically, Matilda's story, does not exist without her relationship with God looking this way or having this perspective of it, because the whole, like, I mean, it's not like really a spoiler. If you think it is, I can take this part out. But like, okay. I'll bleep it out. I'll be like, but like, her relationship with God is what is keeping her married to Gregory, despite the fact that he's a zombie. And it's her hope in a cure, her hope in like good things happening. And it's that misplaced perspective that if I do, like, quote unquote, what I think God wants, like if I follow these rules, then I will get good things. And like, that's part of like just who she is. And yes, that's part of like the story that we're telling, is just like, what does it look like to go from like just following rules for the sake of getting good things to actually having a relationship with God. But it's like, if she didn't have that perspective of like, if I do the right things, I will get good things, then she would have just dumped Gregory and then like on her way. Like, the story just wouldn't exist. There would be no conflict. And I think that's the really interesting thing about her character, is that her perspective clashing with the way the world is working is what is forcing her to go on this self-discovery journey.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's exactly it. And it's one of the reasons why I really like the idea, like when you pitched it to me and everything, and I was just like, yeah, I really love this, because one, it's something that like I'm sure pretty much all people with religion, like they have a moment in time in their life where they have to figure out their relationship with God and grow it to be what it's supposed to be. But also the dynamics of the way me and you see the world, I think really works well for creating the world that Matilda story is in.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So that's one of the harder things, I think.
Yeah.
When you have a dynamic character and you have a character that you're like, I'm not just going to put myself on paper, it makes it more difficult, but so much more rewarding in the end.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, me and Matilda took a long time to get a relationship. You remember?
Yeah, it was like August when we first started our podcast. I think the second episode was literally titled like "Matilda won't talk to me" or something. Just like, what is happening here? Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that's the funny thing too. What you say, bless you, about about like neither of us are putting ourselves on the paper. Like, when I came up with the idea originally, my husband and I were dating. Like, we weren't married or anything like that. So I'm like, I'm not bringing in like any like of me. Like, maybe like I can find some cute funny moments from like being married now or whatever. But I'm like, this is just such a fascinating concept to me, to be like, what would happen? Just be like, you know, like neither of us are putting ourselves in this character's place or like making ourselves the character that we're then being able to go on this adventure with, kind of thing. It's just more of like, if I were just to get to know you and grab coffee with you, I'd be like, so tell me, like, why?
Yeah. Well, And I think it's so cool because which I think this is another issue with starting, like, is this story, to me, I don't think I've ever read anything that dives into the facet of I'm in the apocalypse. How does that still fit with my view with God?
Yeah, yeah.
And
or
you
just my
don't like
worldview, period.
Yeah. And like, I mean, most apocalypse things, you have the people growing and changing to like
Yeah,
adapt to the world around them. But when
right.
you add in this aspect of like religion and being married and questioning on like, well, he's dead, but he's not dead, and he's
Yeah.
kind of still around. Am I married to this person still?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's such a fun concept
Mhm.
because you don't it's not it's one of those, like, like you sit, like, and you're sitting with your friends and you're like, "Ah, during the apocalypse, like, what are the weird
Yeah.
things that could happen? Like, what about glasses?"
Right.
Like,
Yeah. What would you do? What's the craziest thing you do? Like,
right. So it, like, fully plays with, like, these two things, but it's
Yeah.
not to, hype us up or anything, but it's also, like, a segue into a new, like, subgenre of
Yeah.
the zombie world, because not only is
Yeah.
it a zombie rom-com,
Yeah.
but it's touching on things that you generally don't see within zombie or
Yeah.
apocalyptic worlds.
Right. No, for sure. Absolutely. And like I'm hoping that people from like a lot of different backgrounds will be able to resonate with it. Like I think one note that I put in the docs for you to just maybe as like a brainstorming thing is like and it's not a one for one example, so I do want to like preface that up front, but just like how do like couples who go through like tragic experiences where like one of them becomes disabled in some capacity, how do they navigate that? Like because you do hear stories about some people who've had those experiences where like someone becomes paraplegic or someone becomes like fully incapacitated, or there's just things that have to change, and there's an element of like both people have to wrestle through that, and that like
Yeah.
what does that look like in their marriage going forward or that relationship going forward. And I think there's just hard questions, and that's like, I mean, it's a rom-com, but we're also like asking hard questions
Yeah.
in disguised as funny moments.
My life.
No, for real, man. And we both have a dark sense of humor, so it works. We'll crack jokes at each other, not being recorded or whatever. Like, that sounds bad, but like we'll crack jokes at each other offline is what I'm trying to say.
There we go.
And be like, is that too dark? Is that too dark? Is that nope? We both think that's funny. Okay, we're good.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about this just between us or on one of the last podcast episodes, but like the dead mom joke that was in the Nostalgia of You.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it on like 2 episodes or 4 episodes. I don't know. Yeah, I think you mentioned.
I just remember like I wrote that, and I was like, So
no, I thought that was.
I'm
hilarious.
about to learn about Lauren real fast,
and I'm laughing all over the place. About it. Yeah. No, I think it's hilarious. I think I was like capital LOL.
I was like, nice.
Yep. One thing I do want to ask you, because we talked about this offline before we started recording, and then we were like, oh, we need to start recording and talk about this stuff, which is like so many of our conversations. Many. I lost it, and it's gonna come back. 1 second. How does the feedback that you got about the novella's opening, how is that impacting the writing for this? And what are some things that you're trying to work around that? I don't know if people know. I don't know if we've shared this yet.
Yeah. So I feel like we might have, but I talked to so many people about this book. I don't remember.
Strangers at Starbucks. Hey, what are you?
Literally, though, I did it the other day at an Einstein's Bagels when I was picking up something for a friend.
All right, now we have an opportunity for Starbucks to sponsor us, for Einstein Bagels to sponsor us, for Moisturize.
Yeah. So I would say that is the foundation for the roadblock that I'm hitting right now. So for anybody who's missed it, or if we didn't actually talk about it because we can't remember if we did, the resounding feedback that we generally get from the Nostalgia of You, from many people that have read it, is
all 50 of them.
Yeah, all 50 of them. Oh, gosh. Buy my book. Buy our book.
It's gonna take it. Anyways, never mind. Rabbit trail.
Okay, so the resounding feedback is, it's a really good book, but the first chapter and a half is kind of slow, but once I get through that, I just can't put it down.
Right, which is fascinating feedback to me because it's like, in my mind, it's and this is, just what we're learning, but in my mind, it's either like okay. In my mind, it's either one or the other. Like, I'm reading books that are by indie authors, and I'm noticing very common threads throughout them where I'm like, this is, I'm struggling on it for X, Y, or Z reason. There's not like, it starts off really good and then it just kind of falls apart, or there's things in the beginning and it just doesn't pick up as it goes through. But it's like, for us to get that feedback where it's like the first chapter and a half is like slow, which I thought first chapter was hilarious. So now I'm doubting everything.
Right.
But then to have such great feedback after it. And I know people will probably say, well, it's your friends and family or whatever, but we have some very comfortable with critiquing friends and family guys. Like, they'll send full feedback.
You should hear my grandma.
Did your grandma read this?
Yes, she did. Which is so funny because she read the first like draft. Like the very first one before we did the pivot. And
Interesting.
And to let you guys know how honest she is, so that you know that like we can trust the feedback, she told me, and I cried. She said, "This is really bad. I don't think I'd read it."
Wild. Dang.
I was like, you Thanks, don't Grandma. Say that to your grandchild.
Well, at least you know where you stand.
Yeah. And her feedback was, the beginning was slow, but once you get past it, I couldn't put it down. And she told me that too. So
yeah. Honestly, I prefer that feedback even if I do go cry afterwards, because I know that like it's honest. Like I would rather have honest feedback than, people just saying nice things to make the situation feel nice.
Yeah. Well, because then you can like trust them to like when they do give you honest feedback that's absolutely. Like, this is excellent. You're like,
that's positive. You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did it.
I did it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've heard similar things about the novella as well. So I think that's anyways, I want to hear your thoughts on like how you're moving and trying to work through that portion of it, because that was fascinating to me that we got that feedback consistently. Like consistently, not just one-offs or two people, but like
across the board pretty much.
And people are texting us and saying like, oh, I cried at these parts later in the book. So I'm like, we did something right.
But what did we do wrong in the beginning?
No, for real. So like, yeah, anyways, go for it.
So I've been talking to my mom, and I've been trying to I've been talking to my mom, and so she was one of the first people that gave me that feedback. She waited like 4 weeks after she read it to give it to me though, because like she gave me all the really positive feedback in the beginning, and then she was like, "So can I tell you something about your book?"
My mom literally said the exact same thing.
Really?
She literally presented it the same way. She's like, I am so proud of you. I'm so glad that you did this. And my mom's real honest, y'all. So like, so she's like, are you okay if I tell you some things that I noticed about it? And I was like, yep, here we go.
Tell me.
Well, and one of them was just like a dumb little edit that I missed of like, she puts plates down and then a few lines later, she's putting plates down again. And dang it.
That whole scene.
Dang it. It's fine. It's fine.
Because that was a Franken scene. We like got
we
like a bunch of different things
we
together.
We were reading it so much. Like, yeah. It's fine. That's not a big deal. But then the other one was like actually solid feedback. Like of, oh yeah, this didn't work as well, or this did work. Yeah. But anyways, your mom gave you feedback like 4 weeks later.
So she gave me the feedback 4 weeks later, and she was the one that was just like, it's like she was the first one that was like, hey, this is kind of slow in the beginning, but then it really picks up, and then after I got that, all of a sudden I was getting a bunch of people saying that. So I had a conversation with my mom, and I was like, so what about it? Like, why was it feeling like that? And one of the things that she said was that it felt like there wasn't a lot of Matilda in the first like chapter and a half. It felt more dialogue heavy is what she told me. So I don't know if that's like a common across the board.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons why that's helping but also hindering me starting this book is because since we are in a larger hangout scene in the beginning, there's going to be more dialogue, and then to establish her and Gregory, there's going to be more dialogue. So I have to. So it set me up to be like, okay, so there's got to be dialogue, but this chapter's probably going to end up being either a little bit longer, because I'm going to have to filter in between the dialogue. I need to add more of Matilda so people know more of her.
Yeah.
Because that was the biggest thing, is like, who was she? Like, because nobody knew who she was when they started the book. There was no, who are you? And we didn't answer that question fast enough in the nostalgia review. That's like the main feedback I've been getting when I've asked people like, why didn't you like it?
Yeah. No, that's great to hear too. Like, I think that's super helpful. And I understand why that would make writing the first chapter of Unholy Vows hard, because it's like, oof, going into it with that feedback, with that understanding of like how people are receiving it, being like, I've got to like find a way to get around that, but also remembering it's the first draft.
Right.
So,
and honestly, I'm just gonna lock myself in the office and start putting words on the paper. And if they're really bad, Lauren, listen, if they're really bad, don't say that just because you know that I'm a good writer. So you can just be like, hey, so this isn't your best work, and I will cry, but I'll understand.
Hopefully I get to actually do my like finessing for editing, and the first pass of the entire book as you're writing it is literally just questions and like reactions. If I have like really good reactions, maybe if I have a really negative reaction to a part, I'll be like, this area makes no sense in my brain as I read it. But like for the most part, it really like the way I like to edit, like when I'm doing developmental editing for someone, is like, why is this happening? How does this work? Like questions. It's curiosity. The first pass of my developmental editing should be curiosity, and like, here are my legit like funny reactions or like happy reactions to stuff, or like, oh, that was so cute.
And I think that'll help too, with the issue that we ran into with the nostalgia review, because if you're asking more questions in the first chapter, then I'll be expanding more in the first chapter.
Yeah.
So I think that'll like, probably help us.
Yeah, questions in the first chapter don't necessarily mean it needs to be answered in the first chapter. It just means like you need to make sure you answer this soon.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Like there's a book that I'm reading that I think is very popular that I got, like I borrowed it on like Libby, so I'm reading it on my library app. And I'm pretty sure it's like a super popular one because I've had a few people recommend it and stuff. And I'm reading through it and I'm like, there are all these questions that I had that I'm on chapter, like, I'm not even kidding, 13, and they still have not been answered. And I've kind of just gotten bored with it at this point, and I'm like, well,
oh no.
I guess I'll find out at some point. But it's taken so long to answer it that the book has now lost my attention. And it's also it's not a romantasy, like that feels too strong of a word for it, but it's like, it's like anyways, it feels like a knockoff Hunger Games set in like a Red Queen world. But, like, again, like, and I won't say who it is or anything like that because I'm not here to bash anyone's books or whatever.
I think I know exactly what book you're talking.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I'm not going to say it.
Say it after we stop recording. See if you're right. Not bashing anyone's books. No. But there's just things in it that I'm like, oh, I see where Darcy got our romance stereotypes.
Listen.
It mentions it so often that I'm, like, so annoyed now. Like, stop talking about dimples. I can hate it. Like, where's the action? Because it's a really great world concept. But again, yeah. Anyway, so all that to say, like, I think the questions, again, don't have to be answered right in the beginning chapter. If that's where they are, they don't have to be answered in that chapter. But it is a acknowledgement that, like, this is a question a reader might have that should be intentionally answered or unanswered, like intentionally unanswered. Within the next little bit, kind of a deal.
That makes sense. Yeah. And yeah, it's hard too because you have to find that balance, right? Because you want to have some that are intentionally unanswered that it holds the readers because they're like, I want to find the answer. Right. But then you also have to have like you were saying, like you have to answer some questions because otherwise it's just like there's too many what ifs.
Yeah, like world building questions, I think specifically in this example that I just shared. It's some world building stuff that like still has not been answered by chapter like 13. And I'm like, what? Am I just going with it? I guess I am.
Guess so.
Guess so.
World building too, in the first chapter is so important but so difficult because so you have things like what is it? I think it's the Crescent City series. Sarah J. Maas, I think, is the author.
Okay.
Something that I saw a lot of feedback on for that specific one is that there's a lot of world building right in the beginning.
And so it feels so heavy.
Yeah, so people have to slog through that. Well, not slog is such a mean word, but people have to get through that. Yeah. To get to the story, and like because she's such a good author, she's a well-established author that people like, they do. But if you're not, people won't.
Yeah, there was one book that I read that I thought did really good world building where the character had this like quirk or habit, and it's a really fine line, and some people may have found it super annoying, some people may have loved it. It's one of those ones where it's like you're not going to please everyone with it, but I thought it was clever where the character had this quirk where they recited facts when they were nervous or scared or trying to like focus or whatever. And so the author utilized that quirk of the character to help with the world building. But if you look at like Hunger Games, like we talk about all the time, like it opens up on the day of the reaping, which is a big event. Like it opens up with showing you who she is by the way she's taking care of her family and the way she's like reminding her sister, hey, it's just this, don't worry, I've done this to keep you out of it. Like it's giving you information, but like the nice thing about the way that Suzanne Collins does the world building with that is that the character also has to learn some of the world. I think that's the same thing with like the Red Queen series that I go back to a lot of times with Victoria Aveyard, is that the character does not actually know a lot of the world that exists around them. So while you are world building some of it in the beginning, there's so much that the character is also learning. And I mean, I think that's just a classic trope for any, probably young adult especially, but any like story where the character has to learn stuff in order to share with the audience. But if the character already knows that stuff, they have to then teach it to someone else in order for the audience to learn it. Like the audience isn't just going to know it. Like,
right. No, exactly.
Yeah.
It's, and like a lot of the times too, because it's so funny that you use the Hunger Games, because that was going to be my like comparison to the Crescent City.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we as the readers feel like we know the world enough to then learn with Katniss. But it's funny too, because another big thing to remember is just because you know the whole world, because you created it, think about real life. You don't know everything there is to know about the world around you. You're going to learn if you leave home and start traveling.
Or even
you're
just
gonna learn.
Go away from your normal drive, like your commute.
Like, yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So just because you as the writer, since you created the world, know it all, you have to make sure that the way that the character knows the world too is something that like feels authentic.
Yeah, for sure. So I know we've got a big lift for this one, and there's some fun roadblocks we're running into that we get to like walk through with our audience or the people that are going on this journey with us. But
so many.
Yeah.
Opening lines. We're talking about starting a book. Opening lines.
Just write it. Just do it.
My advice, don't get stuck on that. Go back. Add it in later. Because I'm telling you, if you're sitting there and you're like, I gotta have the best opening line ever so I have that hook, you're gonna stare at that page for hours. And you're gonna type and retype like the sentence over and over and over. And then you're gonna be like, I'm done. And you close it and you don't go back.
Darcy, tell me how you know that.
Experience in everything I've ever written.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll figure out the opening line at some point, but yeah, just getting it out there.
But that's my biggest piece of advice when you're starting, because I remember like being a really little kid, and that was like the first thing they ever told me was like, you have to have a good hook. If that first line's not good, people are gonna put your book down. And that was so ingrained into me that my brain is like, it has to be perfect. And then I can't get past it.
Yeah.
So my biggest advice, add it in later.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, just just get the story going.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I feel like that's
Okay.
a lot of where we're at. A lot of stuff we're working on. Hopefully by next time we see you guys, we'll have the first couple chapters in and can kind of talk about how that's going, because February is the month where we're just kind of testing our schedule that we're going to run with through. Hopefully end of June will be like the book will be done first couple passes by the end of June is the goal. So we'll kind of see
hopefully.
how that goes. But yeah, no, I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be. I think it'll
Darcy's
be really
like,
good.
I'm dying already.
Well, I'm excited to dive back into Matilda and Gregory.
Yeah.
I just, Matilda. Me and Matilda still don't get along, so
that's so funny to me. Oh my gosh,
it's curious because I never had a character that fights me as hard as she does, and I've written an entire book from her point of view already, and she's still fighting.
Does she ever like fight with you about like the novella? Does she ever go like, you got this part wrong?
Yes.
Does she?
Yeah, so I was working on a read through of the novella before I started writing because I wanted to just refresh her.
Yeah.
And I got to the what scene was it? There's the scene in the library after the carnival scene, like the library scene.
Yeah.
I was reading it and she was like, this whole scene is stupid. And I was like, why is it stupid? This is what happened. And she's like, you made him seem too cute. And I was like, I don't understand. She's like, he was more of a jerk. And I was like, was he though? Or are you just imagining him to be more of a jerk? And so it's like, it was this whole thing where I was sitting there, I was like, do I need to rewrite this? And then
no, Darcy,
I was like,
stop.
no. I was like, this is good. This is good as it is. And then I got a little bit past it. And then I was just like, and I could feel her just like being like, no, that was fine.
Yeah. That's funny.
I don't know. It's so interesting because I know that that's how the library scene happened because I also had Gregory's like input. So
yeah,
but I don't know. They're their own person in my brain. It's very interesting how it works.
Yeah, super fascinating. Well, I'm excited to hear more about how they talk to you about stuff going forward, especially once Gregory's like, no.
Brain.
Yeah. Gross. Ew. All right. Well, should probably wrap things up. We have been really bad about our like format schedule, like or not schedule, but like the way that we do the episodes.
Yeah. I think it's fine though. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, well, so I guess wrapping it up, Lauren, you want to tell everybody where they can find us?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys are on Instagram and TikTok, you can find the podcast at Untitled Work in Podcast. If you want to follow along with where I'm at, I'm on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube as Misty Morning Stories. And Darcy, where can they find you?
I am on Instagram at Darcy_Michaela. That's really all I have for social media.
Cool.
I have a website, darcymichaela.com.
Did you make one?
I did.
What? Wait, did you make it recently?
Yeah, it finally launched. I've been working on it for like a couple of months.
Oh, fun. Well, and I just launched Misty Morning Stories too, so that's super fun.
Yay!
And I actually got somebody reached out from TikTok to the website. So that's super fun. Yeah, I'll have to tell you more about that offline. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Super stoked. Yeah. So it's already proven useful
moving
for
up in the world.
Yeah. So that's where you can find us. Obviously keep following along for more insights as to what our writing process ends up being. And we have some phenomenal guests that we're going to be sharing this season that you guys definitely don't want to miss. So make sure that you follow any of those channels that work for you so that you can hear and get to listen in on those conversations.
Yes. Oh, and if you have any questions, inquiries, and you want to keep it more private than a comment section, untitledworkingpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. Sweet. All right. Well,
I guess that's it for this week. We will see you soon.
Just
we got
remember,
some guests coming up. Oh, are you starting it?
No, I was trying to prompt you to. I can say it, but it's your tagline.
Lauren's over here like, shut up and end the episode.
I see the timer on my end. I don't know if you can see it on your end, but I'm like, we're getting close.
Okay. Listen, guys, just remember, everybody's a work in progress. It's a process. See you next week.
See ya. Bye.